that I call time travel. Time traveling days are for me where I get lost going to places where I have been 1,000 times. Okay? That's what I call time traveling for me. Other than, of course, time traveling where the conference is 3 hours ahead of my time. And anyway, my whole clock has flipped. Now I go to bed early. So last night I had a dream of a red lobster giant hybrid. I have had many dreams of hybrids, okay? For example, last night we were at a new conference gig, okay? It was so many people that were there lining up. It was a beautiful, very elegant place. And my family was there. Everybody was dressed up. There were two males talking to me about, hey, what are we going to talk about in the conference? What's your next book? And I made a mistake of saying what the title of my next book was, which you should never do. So the one of the guys, he had black hair. He was like, oh my gosh, really? Well, I'm going to do this book and I'm going to do that. So he was like trying to like copy me. And I'm like, what? I go, I shouldn't have told him the title, because what happens is I was listening to Sloan Bella yesterday, and she talks about how people will send spells to you, like if you tell them what you're going to do or whatever, right? So we all have to know to not say what our next step is or whatever. Anyway, so what ended up happening is I had to present, but I looked down at my fingernails and I'm like, okay, I had them all real pretty, fixed except for two. And I'm like, I told my sister, okay, let me borrow the nail polish. I got it on. Okay, cool. It was another color. It was like clear. I'm like, okay, fine. We're getting ready to present. And then my mom has to go. And I'm like, no, Mom, stay with me. We can rent a hotel or whatever. And she was like, no, I can't stay. And so my sister's like, hey, I'll go with you to the conference. But then we end up in an airplane, okay, in an airplane where the airplane, then we were sat, instead of sitting in like the regular rows and things like that, my sister and I ended up in the bottom of the airplane. So it was like cargo. And what ended up happening is I was knocking on, there was like a kind of like a double mirror window. I kept knocking. I'm like, hey, you guys, you guys put us down here. So it was a female pilot, and she wouldn't let us in. So then later on, I saw that there was more people that came to the cargo of the plane, and they were cutting this man's hand, and he looked like a lobster. So they were cutting his hand, part of his hand, and frying it. And these other men were like eating it, and I'm like, holy F, what's going on? So I looked at the giant, and he smiled at me. He was completely red, and they were just taking parts of his hand, and he smiled at me, and I'm like, you're okay with this? This is crazy. So to make a long story short, my sister I thought she was dead. She almost died in that plane thing. And then finally I got out. I did get a part of the man's hand that as far as for evidence, and I wrapped it in a sheet. Then I was in a police uniform, and there was other police officers out there. We were in Texas. And then there was a female lieutenant talking to me, and it was just really weird dream, guys. I always come up with to tell you what's going on with my dreams, and then later on I'll write about it in a book or whatever. But I'm just getting a lot of more downloads on the even if you read my first book, The Jellyfish Being, they eat the jellyfish female beings under Area 51, under the sea. Okay, and they tell me it tastes like chicken. So if you want to read about that, it's in my first book, Sheila and the 99. The second book, which really should be my first, is called My Life in the Secret Space Program. And then the third book is Sheila, Wolverine, Mars, Montauk, and SSP. Okay, love you guys. I gotta go. Bye. Thank you.